one. Let's see what we've got going on tonight here. Well, hopefully we're up and running and live and everything looks good. I'm gonna put that on speaker real quick, see if it's always a couple of seconds behind. Yep. All right, we're up and running. Hey Laura, hey Rosie, hey Amy, thanks for joining. This is Tara with Tara Beth Stamps. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Mid-Missouri, and I've got another live card tutorial. Thank you so much for joining me. Hey Pamela, hey Johnny, thanks for joining, guys. So tonight I have one of my cards that I kind of throw, like I threw everything but the kitchen sink at this card. Like I used 2 different kinds of designer series paper. I used 3 sets of dies. I used 2 stamp sets. Hey Shirley, hey Laura, thanks so much. Oh yeah, I'm glad you got here early too, Laura. Thank you. So this is a Joyfold card, and so I realized after I was putting this together, this kind of looks like one of the cards I did earlier this week. But it's actually a Joyfold card. So I used the branching out dies, which I absolutely love. Hey Debbie, thanks for joining. I'm glad you like the card. So it's a Joyfold card, but I used the branches out dies to create the flap, I guess, for no better word. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I used a little bit of the shimmer embossing paste, so that was pretty fun too. So let's get to it. Like I said, I used a lot of stuff, lots and lots. All right, so I'm going to set this kind of up to the front. We'll show that and I will get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put our card base together. Hey Tana, thanks for joining. So I've got a piece of Secret C that's 4 1/4 by 7 3/4, and I folded. Is that right? Dun, 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 dun. 8. That looks a little big. Let me make sure that I have this cut right, because I feel like it's not cut right. And it's not. I got way more than what I needed. And I've only measured it like 5 times. Hey Mary, thanks for joining. So yes, 4 1/4 by 7 3/4 folded at 5 1/2. So that creates your card base. We're gonna give this a little bit of a burnish. And then I've got a piece of, like I said, I used 2 different designer series paper because I thought that the cherry cobbler matched so well with this elegant pines. This elegant pine, like I love the traditions of Christmas DSP, and I'm not really usually a traditional Christmas color girl. Hey, Shelly, thanks for joining. But these 2 this year, oh, they are so gorgeous. I am loving, loving, loving these, and pairing them together is perfect as well. So I've just got some old olive mats that we're going to put on. So this is going on the card base on the back. Yes, I agree, Shelly. Combining all of this, it's the only way to do it. You got to have, like I said, I pulled everything but the kitchen sink out on this one, I think. All right, so we're going to burnish that down. And then I've got a piece of the Traditions of Christmas DSP. And so that is a 4 by 2 inch that I'm adhering to just an old olive mat. All of these directions or dimensions will be on my blog tomorrow at Tara Beth Stamps. And I think I'll probably have a PDF. I'm about 1/3 of the way through, and I think I'll be able to get it done before I go to sleep. All right, so this is the Joyfold card base. This is one of my favorite fun folds just because it's super, super simple. Okay, now I have a piece of cherry cobbler in basic white that I cut with the 4th largest branching out die. So here's the branching out dies here. Absolutely gorgeous. So I did the 4th largest. The 3rd is missing, and I'll show you where it's at in a minute. So I cut the cherry cobbler and the basic white with that. And we're going to do a little stamping on the basic white. Hey, Angie, thanks for joining. And so we're going to stamp a little bit today with that one first. And then we'll do that front flap. All right. Yes, Rosie, thank you for reminding me. Yeah, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you'll know when I go live on Sunday evenings. So I've got the Secret C, and that's the other thing. This is one of my favorite colors for these traditional Christmas cards. It goes so well. Night of Navy is fantastic as always, a favorite of mine, but the Secret C, whew, just love it. So I've got the Thinking of You Brings Joy to My Heart. That's from the Branching Out die stamp set, and I'm stamping that with Secret C. Now we'll close that so we don't cause an catastrophe. And then I pulled a branch and one of the pine leaves stamps from the Branching Out stamp set. So I've got this one, and I think I've got this one that we're working with. So like I said, everything but the kitchen sink. So I'm going to ink this up. I'm going to kind of lay it out here first before I ink it up and kind of get an idea of where I'm going to go, because I want to make sure that my leaves, what I may do is I think I stamped the sentiment last night when I did this card, but we're going to go ahead and add this on here, and we're just going to go ahead and put the leaves on there first so we don't mess with the sentiment. Sometimes you just got to play around with things and see how they're going to go. All right, so we're going to come up from the top there with this, and I've got this stamped. We're stamping this with pecan pie. Not exactly perfect. Not loving it, but it'll be fine. Yes, I agree, Mary. Go to color for sure. For sure. Okay. While I've got my inks out, we may as well set this to the back. And I have a piece of basic white that I have stamped with my traditional labels. So this one. So there's a couple of different sentiments that go perfect with this. There's this one, the season's greetings, and there's also sending love and joy. So a lot of really great sentiments that work with this stamp. This is going to be a go-to that you got to have for the holidays. And I feel like I'm using it on just about every card I'm making. Okay. Now I feel like there's one direction that works. Yep, I had it right the first time. So it kind of looks like this is symmetrical, but I don't think that it is. So you kind of have to play around with it or stamp it and then die cut it. But when I die cut, it makes my table shake, and I don't love to do that for you guys. And I cut an extra one just in case I didn't do that, but I did that great. So, yay. Okay, so that's all the stamping that we're going to do. I'm going to set that to the side, and we've got these layers. So now we're ready to go over the flap. So I've already done this for you. So this was a piece of 3" by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. So just, 3 inches on that standard cardstock that you have. And then what I did is I laid my die. I'll go ahead and pull this off. So I laid my die down. Well, I've got this. Let's go back here. I've got this roll of tacky tape. So it's like paper, Post-it note tape. You could definitely use that, but it's tacky but not tacky. So you can pull it apart. So it's great for positioning and things like that. So what I did was I went ahead and laid my die on it. And then I took my fold and I went right up to the line where it will cut, so that fold line just is right there burnished, or right there flush with that die cut. And then I ran it through my die machine. So that's going to create our fold, open fold. And you can see I got it so well that we still have the impressions of the stitching on the top and the bottom. Sharon, thanks so much for joining. I love these colors too. So now this flap is ready. And so what I can do is I can go ahead, I'm gonna go ahead and add it to the card base. That way we can just add directly to the card. So I am gonna use a little bit of extra seal with this just because it is a fun fold and I like to have a little bit of extra, you know, security with that. You could use Stampin' Seals Plus or tear tape. Give it a nice burnish. So this is gonna open this direction and then that flap goes there, and that's what makes that joy fold card. So this inside is ready to go in. We've got it all done. Line it up. And I love the, oh man. Stampin' Up, if you're listening, I want these dies to last forever and ever and ever. Please don't take them away from me. I think I use these at least once a day. Okay, so now I have that layered. Now, oh, here we go. Here's my sentiment that we've already stamped with that traditional layers. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put 2 dimensionals right there in the center because I'm gonna be sticking stuff underneath. And so I don't want it messing with that. Okay, so I did a lot of die cutting ahead of time. I'll save that banner for later since I didn't need it. So I cut this pine cone layers. This one came from the Delicate Pines. So that's these 2 dies. I did this with Early Espresso and pumpkin pie, and I put an adhesive sheet behind that pumpkin pie just so that we could get this 2-layered look. Now, if you'll notice, I've got snowfall on it. So what I did was I used Stampin' Up! Shimmer Paste. So this is the Shimmer White Embossing Paste, and you'll notice that I have a saran wrap on this. So this stuff kind of dries out if you don't use it a lot. So what I always do is it comes to you sealed up and everything. So I don't pull this aluminum seal off. I leave it and I use it. See, I only have about half of it off, and then I seal it back down to get it a nice decent seal. And then I put this, this is 3 layers of saran wrap, and I just throw that on there and seal it up. And that keeps it longer. Oh, Shelly, that's way before my Stampin' Up! Time. 10 years ago. I've only been doing this 7, so you probably have some oldies and goodies. So I use this, and so basically what I did was with a lot of these pieces, I just stuck it down in there, stuck it on the lid, and just got different amounts of the shimmer paste. And I did that for the branches and on that pine cone just because I wanted it to look like there was snow. And I love the little extra shimmer that you get with that. All right. Let's seal this up so it's good the next time I use it. All right. Make sure you get the lid on nice and tight. Okay. Now I'm going to take my tweezers. We're going to arrange these little branches the way I want them. So I've got different greens in here, but I think that that's perfect for, okay, we're going to definitely cut off some of this. The shimmer paste is, Laura, are you going to try the shimmer paste? I hope you do. I think it's fantastic. It just gives your cards another element, you know. We're always looking to add as much as we can. All right. I'll leave that there. And I think I'm going to cut these completely apart. So you just kind of have to play with it. And there's a dimensional right there. Okay, there we go. All right. I'm going to play around with this, see if I can't get it. Now I'm using liquid adhesive. Now I do that with die cuts. It's about the only time I'm going to use liquid adhesive because we don't like each other. I get sticky and gross and it gets all over my work surface. And then I've got things sticking to me. Makes me think of some old sitcom. I can't remember. Is it a Lucy sitcom where she's working with paper and she's got her fingers all sticky? Maybe. All right, so I feel like that's going to need a dimensional here. So let's do that. Just do one little snip here because these branches are really fine. So that's definitely going to peek out a little bit. So let's see if I can't trim it up a little bit. There we go. I'll still use a little bit of adhesive there. Give this one a little, I like this one a little bit better than the original. All right. Now, I've got little pine cones, and those little pine cones came from the Branching Out die set. So like I said in the beginning, I really threw everything but the kitchen sink at all this. See, that liquid glue is... The other thing you can do with these die cuts is you can bend them and move them around. There we go. All right, so these little guys, look how cute these are. Aren't they adorable? Little bitty things. Yes, Sharon, yes. Liquid glue and I don't get along, and I know the concept is less is more. I get it, but I'm not very good at that. All right. Let's do this big guy right there, and I think we're going to do a dimensional with him. So you just kind of have to build up your scene with the die cuts. And so what I normally do is I normally die cut a lot more than what I need, and then I have extras for later. So like yesterday I went ahead and made 4 of these because I just knew I would need 4, and then I didn't use hardly any. I feel like we're going to go ahead and put a big one on this one. Let's do a dimensional here. All right. Okay, I think we're good with all of our pine boughs and everything now. Ooh, here we are. I forgot to get my So the other thing that I do is I look in my stash and see. It does multiply, Amy. Your liquid glue always comes out more and more and more. So what I like to do is I like to pull dimensional or embellishments that may not be in the theme of what I'm working with. And so I found these adorable stars. These are the shimmer foam stars. These go with the spooky sweet. And I loved them because they're shimmery. And that's definitely what this card needs, is just a little more shimmer. And so I'm using these stars, and I loved them so much that I felt they needed to be everywhere. Let's see here. All right. So that's the card. That's it. Let me just add a little bit of DSP to an envelope. Now we've got a new paper pumpkin. That sign up is going on with that now. So if you're a paper pumpkin subscriber, make sure that you don't miss out on next month. That looks like a really good one. Today is the last day to sign up for my Gathering Moments class. That's September, I think the 29th. Is the 29th on Sunday this month? It's the 28th, I'm sorry. So that sign up ends tonight. I've also got a Christmas Memory and More kit that's available as well. That's 20 cards, 5 each of 4 designs. So make sure and check out all that information on my blog. I hope you have an amazing week and you love today's card. All the dimensions will be available at TaraBethStamps.com tomorrow. Thanks so much for spending part of your weekend with me. Have a great one, and we'll see you here next week.